Welcome back to the Success Resources channel.
We're diving deep today.
Yeah, into something I think a lot of our listeners are really going to connect with.
Absolutely.
That 9 to 5 grind, how to break free.
It's a hot topic.
It is, because we're all about, smarter paths to wealth here at Success Resources.
Right. Thinking differently.
And for anyone tuning in for the first time,
Welcome.
yeah, welcome. Success Resources, we're a global education company, hundreds of events every year,
All over the world.
35 countries. Speakers you might have heard of,
Big names.
Bill Clinton, Robert Kiyosaki,
T. Harv Eker.
even Donald Trump has been on our stage.
And speaking of Robert Kiyosaki,
Oh, yeah.
QGE opportunity.
Don't miss this.
National Achievers Congress.
Write this down, folks.
Make the world rich again.
Catchy title.
It is, and he'll be live.
A person.
South Africa and Singapore.
Mark your calendars, August 23rd and 24th, 2025.
We'll have all the details down in the description box, so check that out.
Definitely. And while you're down there,
We've got something special.
oh yeah, freebie alert, our financial freedom test.
This is awesome.
It is. Helps you figure out, where's your money mindset at right now?
What are your strengths? Where can you grow?
What action steps should you be taking? Links in the description box. Go take it.
All right, enough announcements. Let's get into the meat of this.
Okay, so the 9 to 5 mindset, the thing we're all trying to escape.
Right, we've all heard it. Go to school, get good grades, get a stable job.
Work till you're 65. Retire, hopefully.
But is that really the path to financial freedom?
I'm skeptical.
Me too. I think it's the path most of us were raised on. But it often leads to this trap of trading time for money.
So you hit a ceiling.
Exactly. You only have so many hours in a day.
It's that hamster wheel. You're working so hard.
But not really getting ahead financially.
Right, and that's where Rich Dad comes in.
Right, that's right. Robert Kiyosaki's philosophy, thinking like an investor, an entrepreneur.
Not just an employee.
It's about creating assets that work for you even while you sleep.
I love that. Assets working while you sleep.
Passive income, that's the dream.
It is.
So,
Okay, so we're talking about a mindset shift here. But for someone stuck in that 9 to 5,
yeah,
how is an investor mindset even different?
that's the key question. There are a few key differences. First, employees trade time for money.
Okay, makes sense.
Investors make their money work for them.
Give me an example of that.
Think of it like this. Your paycheck is limited by the hours you put in.
Okay, yeah.
But an investment, like a rental property, it's generating income 24/7.
Whether you're working on it directly or not.
Exactly. It's like having little money-making machines out there.
I like that.
Second big difference, employees often seek security.
Steady paychecks, benefits, that kind of thing.
Right. But investors are after freedom,
Financial independence.
control over their time,
Braces.
without being tied to a job.
So it's like breaking free of those golden handcuffs, even if they feel comfy now.
Exactly. Third difference is income growth. A salary, it usually increases slowly, limited by company policies or your industry.
Yeah, you get that yearly raise, maybe.
But investments in businesses have the potential for exponential growth.
So it's not just a fixed hourly rate, it's something bigger.
It is. You can leverage compounding, scalability to really accelerate your wealth building.
I'm starting to see the light here. Okay, so mindset shift, key differences. But how does someone actually break free?
Where do you even begin?
Yeah, practical steps here.
It starts with action, but don't worry, it's not as overwhelming as it sounds.
Okay, good.
First, shift your mindset. Embrace the idea that wealth is built by creating assets, not just relying on your paycheck.
So reading Robert Kiyosaki's books would help.
Absolutely. Attending events like the National Achievers Congress.
Surrounding yourself with success stories.
Exactly. Reinforce this new way of thinking.
Love it. What else?
Develop multiple streams of income.
Okay, so not just relying on that one job.
It's risky, having all your eggs in one basket.
What are some examples of that?
Side hustles, passive income, creating digital products, dividend-paying stocks.
So diversifying, spreading out the risk.
Exactly. Reduce your dependence on that single job.
It's like building a financial safety net.
That's a great way to put it. Now, this next step is crucial. Invest in assets, not liabilities.
Okay, that's a classic Rich Dad concept.
It is, and it's so important to understand the difference.
Assets put money in your pocket.
Liabilities, take it OUT.
I think a lot of people get confused about this.
They do. An asset generates income or appreciates in value over time.
Like a rental property, stocks, maybe even intellectual property, like a book you wrote.
All great examples. A liability, on the other hand, costs you money.
Car loan, credit card debt, those things.
Exactly. So many people buy things they think are assets, but they're actually draining their finances.
Yeah, keeping them stuck.
That's why this understanding is crucial for building lasting wealth,
It's not about deprivation. It's about making smart choices.
right?
Right.
Aligned with your long-term goals.
Okay, ready for the final and maybe most challenging step,
Bring it on.
taking calculated risks.
Yes. Breaking free often requires stepping outside your comfort zone.
But doesn't mean jumping off a cliff blindly, right?
Yeah, exactly. It's about starting small,
Gaining experience, building confidence.
gradually transitioning away from that 9 to 5 reliance.
Okay, so not an overnight thing.
More like learning to swim. You don't jump in the deep end right away.
You start in the shallows, get comfortable, then venture further out.
Perfect analogy. It makes taking those risks feel less scary.
It does. And you don't have to do it all at once, right?
Right. Small changes, small investments, they make a big difference over time.
So we've covered a lot. 9 to 5 pitfalls, rich dad principles. But what really sets this apart?
What makes it so powerful?
Yeah, what's the secret sauce?
It boils down to financial education.
Not just budgeting or balancing a checkbook.
It's deeper than that. Understanding how money works, how to make it work for you,
Building a solid financial foundation,
learning to think like an investor,
spotting opportunities.
managing risk effectively.
So you're confident making decisions, not intimidated by money.
Exactly. When you understand the rules of the game,
You're more likely to win.
exactly. But for someone who feels lost about finances, where do they even begin?
That's a great question, and we'll dive into those resources right after a quick break.
All right, so where do we find this financial education?
Yeah, give us the goods. Where do we start?
Well, like I mentioned earlier, books are fantastic.
I love a good book.
Robert Kiyosaki, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, that's a must-read.
Classic.
But there are so many others out there.
Covering all sorts of topics.
Personal finance, investing, starting a business.
Find authors you connect with, their style.
Exactly, and just dive in.
And if reading's not your thing, there are other options.
Oh, yeah, tons.
Podcasts, for example.
Like the one you're listening to right now.
Hopefully you're enjoying it.
We try to make these complex topics a bit more digestible.
And fun. We like to have fun here.
Absolutely, but there are tons of other great finance podcasts out there.
Perfect for your commute, workout, anytime you need some financial inspiration.
Then you've got online courses, workshops. Those are super popular now.
For good reason.
Structured learning, expert guidance,
And you can often find very specific topics.
real estate, the stock market, building an online business.
It's amazing what's available online.
It is, really is.
I also think in-person workshops and seminars can be really valuable.
Oh, definitely.
You get personalized advice, you can connect with other people.
That's a big one, the community aspect.
Right. Surrounding yourself with people on the same journey.
It's huge. That support, the accountability.
And you can learn so much from each other.
Absolutely. Don't underestimate mentorship either.
Finding someone who's already achieved what you're aiming for.
Learning from their experiences.
It can fast-track your progress.
It can, for sure.
So it's about finding what works for you and diving in.
That's the key.
But beyond just consuming information.
Yeah, what about putting it into practice?
Right. What habits can we build to think more like investors?
One of the simplest but most powerful habits is to start paying yourself first,
What does that mean exactly?
instead of waiting till the end of the month to see what's left over,
You set aside money for savings and investments right away.
as soon as you get paid.
It's like making your future self your top priority.
That's a great way to put it. Shifting your mindset from spending to investing first.
And then managing your expenses accordingly.
It's about prioritizing your financial well-being over immediate gratification.
It's not always easy, but it's so worth it.
Definitely. Another helpful habit is to track your spending.
See where your money's actually going.
Exactly. It's easy to lose track of those little expenses, but they can add up fast.
The lattes, the takeout, it all adds up.
It does. And once you see where your money's going, you can make conscious choices.
About where to cut back.
Maybe up more money for investing or saving.
It's like doing a financial audit of your own life.
It can be eye-opening for sure.
What about setting financial goals? Is that important?
Absolutely crucial. Having clear goals gives you something to work toward.
Keeps you motivated.
It does, whether it's saving for a house, paying off debt, retirement.
Having those specific goals makes your decisions more intentional,
Exactly. It's like having a financial roadmap.
guiding your journey.
That's a great way to put it.
And don't be afraid to ask for help.
Oh yeah, professional guidance can be invaluable.
Financial advisors, accountants.
They can create a personalized plan for you.
So it's about taking those steps, building knowledge, good habits, support system.
That's it in a nutshell.
It's a journey, right?
It is a marathon, not a sprint.
Building wealth takes time.
patience, consistency.
But with the right mindset, the right tools.
Anyone can achieve financial freedom.
So inspiring.
It is. It's all about empowering yourself,
Taking control of your financial future.
creating the life you want.
And speaking of creating the life you want, we've talked about the how-to,
Yeah,
but what about the why? The benefits.
it's dead stuff.
What can people really look forward to when they start down this path?
Well, let's dive into those juicy details right after. You guessed it, a quick break.
All right, those benefits, the juicy stuff, what are we waiting for?
Spill the beans.
Yeah.
What can people actually expect to experience?
I mean, first and foremost, you've got financial freedom.
Okay, that's the big one, right? But what does that actually look like?
It's about living life on your own terms.
Not being tied to a job you hate just to pay the bills.
Exactly. Having choices, options.
That feeling of like a weight being lifted off your shoulders,
It's incredibly empowering.
knowing you're not trapped.
And it's not just about having more money, it's about what that money allows you to do.
Okay, so it's not just about the number in your bank account, it's about the freedom it gives you.
Right. The freedom to pursue your passions.
Spend more time with loved ones, travel, maybe even give back to your community.
Anything that brings you joy and fulfillment
It's about designing a life you actually want.
instead of being stuck on someone else's schedule.
Right, not letting that 9 to 5 dictate your every move. Exactly. And then there's the security that comes with knowing you're not reliant on a single source of income.
Like we talked about earlier, building those multiple streams.
Exactly. You're less vulnerable to economic downturns or job loss.
It's like having that financial safety net.
It gives you peace of mind knowing you have options.
Even if one thing goes wrong, you have other things to fall back on.
That security can be so liberating too.
How so?
It allows you to take more risks, pursue opportunities that might have seemed too scary before.
Because you know you have that cushion to support you.
Exactly. And then there's the personal growth that often comes with this journey.
Okay, I'm interested to hear more about that.
When you start taking control of your finances,
You start taking control of other areas of your life as well.
it's like a ripple effect.
Increased confidence, self-esteem, maybe even a sense of purpose.
It's amazing to see how people transform.
When they realize they have the power to create their own financial future.
It unlocks so much potential.
It's inspiring.
It really is. And then one of the most rewarding aspects is the ability to give back.
Okay, yeah, that's something we haven't touched on much yet.
When you have financial abundance,
You have the resources to support causes you care about.
help those in need, make a positive impact.
It's not just about donating money either, right?
It's about using your time, your talents, your influence to make a difference.
So it's like a holistic approach to giving back.
It's about aligning your resources with your values.
Okay, so we've got the financial freedom, the security, the personal growth, the giving back.
It sounds pretty amazing, right?
It does.
Mm.
But let's be honest, it's not always easy.
There will be challenges, definitely.
Setbacks, moments of doubt,
It's a journey, not a destination.
and those bumps in the road, they can be tough.
They can. So how do you stay motivated when things get tough?
That's the million-dollar question.
First, remember your why. Why are you doing this? What are you working towards?
Connect back to that bigger picture.
Exactly. And don't be afraid to reach out for support.
Talk to people who understand what you're going through.
Find a mentor. Join a mastermind group, whatever works for you.
There's power in community.
Absolutely. And finally, celebrate those wins along the way, big or small.
And while you're down there, don't forget to grab our free financial freedom test.
It's a great tool to assess where you're at and what your next steps should be.
That link is in the description box too.
We're so excited for you to embark on this journey of financial empowerment.
It's all about taking control, creating the life you truly desire.
Remember, it all starts with that first step.
What will yours be? Let us know in the comments below.
We love hearing from you guys.
Thanks for joining us on the deep dive.
We'll see you next time.